My only wish is to be like humans. I mean, not their bad parts, but the fact that they have such strong emotions. They cry and laugh a lot, sometimes both at the same time. They experience pain, especially when having babies due to their curved pelvises. They even have the capacity to eat species like ours if they wanted to, which is disgusting. But I would love to have their strengths, creativity, and courage. In fact, if I could be human, I probably wouldn't care about the negative aspects. It would be an easy trade-off. Let me tell you about the first human I ever met, who became one of my closest friends. My family and I live on the planet Zoria, considered the oldest sentient planet in the universe, a fact Zorians never let us forget. Zoria is a melting pot of sentient species, being the home of the Galactic Sentient Assembly. I am from the planet Sci-Fi, and our species has been allied with the Zorians for millennia. My parents worked as mid-level clerks for the Galactic Sentient Assembly. They had the same job, the same personality, the same boring friends. Their lives sucked, in my opinion. I was about 16 standard years old, which is equivalent to adolescence for Flaxians. I was bored with school and life, living a monotonous existence as a plant-based prey species. I needed something exciting to happen. It was around this time that a new kid started at school. His name was Eris, and he was human. The news of his arrival spread quickly, and there was even a special meeting for our parents to voice their concerns. A predatory human coming to our school was a big deal. The adults were terrified, but the kids were excited. We were going to have a real live human at school. And then came the news. I was to be his buddy. My parents were shocked but relieved when I told them I would have a Zorian guard with me until it was confirmed that Eris was safe. My school was a bit unusual. It was a stellar academy, which is an expensive elite interspecies school for the children of ambassadors and royalty. My family isn't in that league, but my dad's boss got me in. Most of the kids there are snobby and cliquish, but the principal, Varian, loves me because I am one of the few normal kids in the school. I will never forget Eris's first day. I arrived early at 11 a.m. to be ready for the 11:30 a.m. start. I've since heard that's super late for humans, but for us plant species, it's perfect because our energy levels are higher after a few hours of sunlight for photosynthesis. Eris's transporter arrived at 11:15, and Principal Varian and I were there to meet him. The other kids were already in class to avoid a commotion. Eris got out of the transporter by himself, no parents or escort, as if he had been there forever. I had seen humans from a distance and heard my parents talk about them, but I had never seen one up close. His skin was smooth and light, and he showed his terrible teeth as he approached. Then he saw my reaction and quickly hid them behind his lips, realizing he was scaring me, which he was. "Hello," Eris said, as Director Varian introduced us. "Hello, sir," Eris replied, hiding his teeth. "Good to have you here," Varian continued. "This is your study buddy, Kellen. He will show you around and help you learn how we do things here." "Thank you," Eris said. "Nice to meet you, Kellen," he added, turning to look at me. Flaxians, as I mentioned, are a plant-based species similar to Terran bamboo. That means I'm tall, thin, flexible, and pretty tough. So when Eris looked at me, he had to look up because I'm 9 feet tall. Eris tried hard to hide his teeth and stared at me. I let him take it all in and then said, "Well, you're damn short and weird looking even for a human. Big mistake." He threw his head back and laughed loudly, slapping his legs with his arms and bending over. Principal Varian ran into the building. The Zorian guard stood frozen, unsure of what to do, and I just stared at Eris, realizing that this species could crush us all if it wanted to. Humans possess muscles and nearly unbreakable bones. Their body mass index, BMI, is significantly higher than ours. They are heavy, strong, and intimidating. They have sharp teeth and consume both plants and meat. They can think incredibly fast, make decisions in an instant, and fight using whatever is available, even their bare hands. But I stood my ground, forcing myself to perform the Floresian version of a fake smile, and waited for him to calm down. "Good one, man," he said, slapping me on the back. I almost broke in half, but managed to stay upright. "Man, have you been here long, Eris? On Zoria?" I asked, wanting him to understand he needed to tone it down to avoid freaking us all out. "No, I just got here 2 days ago," he said. It's the first real stellar academy I've been to. Are you Flaxian? Yeah, almost.
I'm Flaxian, he replied.
Cool, Eris nodded, looking around. Where's the principal? About that time, Principal Varian reappeared, holding a large book in front of him. Oh my god, he's using it as a shield, I thought, amused. Ah, come in boys, Principal Varian said, his voice wavering. Class is about to start. Okay, Eris said. Lead the way, Kellen. We walked up the school steps, and I pushed open one of the double doors. Eris tried to push the other one, but it flew off its hinges and landed 6 feet down the hallway. Crap, he said. I'm sorry, sir. Principal Varian had run off again, and the guard had left as well. It was just me and Eris against the world. Please let the school stand at the end of the day, I thought, feeling a bit frantic inside. I bit the bullet. Okay, man, we need to have a serious talk here. Yeah, Eris said. It's a bit strange how he keeps leaving. Well, Eris, the thing is, you're scary. What? He said. Eris, you're human, I said simply. No kidding, he said sarcastically. Man, all of us here are prey species. Many of us are petrified of you. You can grab us with your hands. You can run faster and jump higher. You can make weapons out of things. You can swim in water. You can, eat us. I hit a nerve with that last remark. Eris's face fell, and he looked away. Yeah, well, me and my family, we're not like that. You have to get to know us, give us a chance. His voice trailed off. I know, dude. That's why they let you in here. But man, when you slapped my back out there, you almost broke it. Eris looked shocked.
I'm sorry, man.
My parents told me that we were stronger than most and that people might be afraid, but until I broke the door back there, I didn't get it. Yeah, it's okay. You'll get there, and so will we. But you're going to have to, slow it down a little bit. I'll help you, dude. Thanks, he said. Cool, I said. Let's go to class. It's astrophysics first, and we've got 5 minutes to get there. That first class went well. Everyone stared, and some actually moved away from Eris, but he handled it. The second class, leadership and diplomacy, didn't go as smoothly. Eris got up to read something to the teacher and knocked over a desk with his hip. The little Caprian sitting at the desk screamed and clattered backward on his hooves, setting off a chain reaction of panic among the Zorians in Jar. Watch what you're doing, you clumsy idiot, yelled a Zorian. Eris apologized profusely and sat down at his desk with his head in his hands. But in the next class, physical training, things started to look up. We had to pair up, and naturally, I was with Eris. No one else wanted to pair with him anyway. Eris's special uniform was way too small. He came out of the locker room with a t-shirt that only went halfway up his stomach and shorts that showed most of his thighs. Everyone was horrified and transfixed by the amount of human anatomy on display. Eris was embarrassed but tried to make the best of it. Our gym teacher, a Flaxian like me, is 3 feet tall but really strong. We had to move weights across the room as fast as we could. Eris picked up the whole bucket of weights in one go, so we won. Then we had to climb a rope and cross a rock wall. Eris got up and down the rope in 10 seconds and climbed the rock wall like a spider, his body flat against the surface and constantly moving. We won that too. Next, he threw a medicine ball so far that it bounced off the gym wall and almost hit the same Caprian again. When we did the reaction time test, Eris caught every single ball that came out of the machine, even jumping over 6 feet to catch one in the air, landing hard and acting as if nothing had happened. He did all this with hardly any clothes on, his muscular human physique on display for the whole class to see. It was freaking awesome. At the end of the class, our teacher stood in stunned silence, staring at Eris. How old are you, Eris? She asked. I'm 16, he said. When do human males reach adulthood? About 25 maybe, Eris said. My teacher's mouth fell open. You mean you are getting faster and stronger? Well, yes, ma'am, he said, simply shrugging his shoulders. I'm hungry now. Isn't it lunchtime? We walked slowly to the cafeteria after changing from PT. Eris was wearing his normal clothes and obviously felt much more comfortable. We sat down in the cafeteria, a group of kids from all over the universe, all thrown together in this crazy school. I got out my food, which was sugary liquids in the form of a shake, which is what we mostly eat. Eris took out his food, which was a steak sandwich. Immediately, every prey sentient in the room could smell the meat. It's hard to explain what that's like for a prey species. It's a horrible, hypnotic, sickening feeling that hits you in the middle of your gut or xylem and phloem. Some kids ran out of the room, some just moved quickly away. One kid dropped his food all over the floor, and several species just screamed. Jar actually peed himself. Eris sat perfectly still, the steak sandwich in mid-bite, meat and bread flapping in the breeze. Dude, I almost yelled, you can't eat that here. Eris actually drooled because the sandwich was almost in his mouth. Then he quickly wrapped it up and ran out of the room so fast that he slammed into the lunchroom door and broke that door too. I found him about 10 minutes later, sitting on the front steps of the school. He had his communication device out, and his cheeks were wet. He wiped his face with his hand and looked at me for a long time. Kellen, I don't think this place is for me, he began. Eris, I said, this is your first day in a new school. You're human, and no one else here is. When I started here, I was the only Flaxian child. A Zorian pushed me, and because I'm so tall, I hit my head on the top of the door frame. Yes, but you are a prey species. We're different, you know? I know, man. But it's really good that you're here. You have brains, you're damn strong and fast, you're funny, but don't drive very crazy with all that knee slapping again. Eris managed to smile. His teeth gleamed in the sun, but they didn't scare me as much this time. We just have to get used to you. You can't run away from it, dude. No matter where you go in this universe, all of us will be there, and we can't run away from you. Well, for starters, you would catch us and then probably eat us. Eris threw his head back and laughed again, and this time I really joined in.